Were I to have ever actually done drugs, which of course I haven't, I might have found shrooms and X to actually be a marvelous combination. The combination of the hallucinatory action and intense body consciousness of the shrooms interact very well with the empathic edge of the X, and it can be a very moving, intimate and entheogenic experience. I have found myself a few times in very interesting social dynamics, on the two, especially when garnished with some nitrous. And sexually is a very viable combination, especially in comparison with, say, a hit of LSD. The visions can be almost overwhelming, their tangibility almost on par with 2CB. Perhaps the X carrying the suspension of disbelief more effectively, everything falling into very cohesive imageries, and very organic and spiritual as well as personalized. This is the combo on which I've found myself engaged with the Shiva, a writhing mass of giant earthworms getting frenetically busy à la Giger, etc. I've always been fairly sloppy with timing my intakes, never myself having a good understanding of what is best. I would probably advise taking the X fairly early on, like right after your stomach settles suitably to hold the stuff down. Which reminds me of a few other experiences actually, which earn a caveat despite my basic enthusiasm. The times I have decided to lay the X on well after the mushrooms already had a hold of my brain, it struck me that the shrooms really didn't trust the potentially inauthentic sentiments of the X, and always, just at the moment the X touched my tongue, my stomach would react very violently to it and simply not let me take it down, to the point of vomiting into my hand as it approached my mouth. Have ruined a notable number of nice X capsules by barfing them up immediately. There's another $20 on the desert floor. So bodily reactions are much more acutely a part of my experience combining these two, and unless they're introduced to one another early on in the road trip, they may not become the best of friends winking face. Another interpretation of this situation might be, I have an overeager tummy anyway, and more frequently than not do get nauseous on even just X or LSD, much less shrooms. I've started interpreting it as part of my own little ritual, and take it in stride usually. It might be that the anticipation of the X hit gets the shrooms going. I barf, peak, and underscore that's underscore when the X should be ingested. The shrooms always kick in most strongly immediately upon coughing them back up. Perhaps I should just embrace the inevitability of me upchucking, have done with it, and then drop the X into my newly available belly. Just a few thoughts. If you have any difficulties with the notion of crawling on your hands and knees toward the nearest shrub or toilet during a few dizzying moments, it might not be advisable, but if you have learned to hack it elegantly, it's certainly worth the risk. I have a few friends who actually refuse or are reluctant to take shrooms because it might want to make them hurl, which I think is a tragic and silly evasion of a truly magnificent experience. Give it a go, then, and as far as my reckoning goes I can't see any likely real harm. Happy hunting.